I was wondering if you talk about commitments. We, of course, enjoy our position being a retail company, taking care of supermarkets. Which commitment and to whom? Is it about commitments to the market, to our customers, or to our suppliers? And that's well, always the dilemma for us. Well, I'm Leon Mol. I'm Dutch, so I'm coming from the Netherlands. Born at the arable farm, also producing lamb meat and beef, and educated as an agronomist. So that's a nice combination to work at a supermarket company after in between having worked in Egypt for a year to establish 2,500 hectares of potatoes and traveled all over the world as agronomist for Albert Heijn, one of the brands under Ahold Delhaize. So what's Ahold Delhaize? Just in a snapshot, we are active in 11 countries, have a little bit more than 6,500 supermarkets, 375,000 roughly associates, all the features that come with it. So we are big from one side and small from the other side. And I'll tell you why. Because, well, you see it already here. We have under our company quite a few brands, own brands, all over the globe. Well, in US you would recognize probably Giant, Stop and Shop, Peapod, Hannaford, Food Lion, all along the East Coast, while the other brands are mainly in Europe and a little bit in Asia. We were recently merged, Ahold and Delhaize, to one company. And both of the companies originate from a family-owned company, started roughly 150 years ago, one in Belgium, one in the Netherlands. And over the years we had quite similar developments, so it was quite, well, logical that we came together at a certain moment in time. Also in US, we are since the 74 for Delhaize and 81 for Ahold, so we have quite a long history also in the Americas. So what does it mean to be sustainable in such a world? We have 11 countries of operation. That means that we are dealing with 11 stakeholder landscapes, and when you talk about food safety, that's quite black and white. It needs to be safe. But if you talk about animal welfare, it's not black and white, because it's depending on the environment where you are, where it's produced, and who's around you. So also, when we talk about sustainability, it's difficult to explain, because in fact, and that's what we try to build in and to also educate all our associates about, it's in our DNA. We want to be sustainable as a company ourselves, without looking at the market, without looking, no, we want to do that, like we saw also the example from Cargill. But it's also depending on the choices of the customer, because they eventually have to buy what we offer them. I mean, you can say, well, the retail just decides for the customer what to buy. Well, the retailer that tries that would not make it 150 years in the market. But sustainability is also a way to differentiate otherwise homogeneous offerings. And that's an interesting one, because we have heard a story already this morning from two sides. One saying, well, it's all about the attributes. What are you going to do extra on top of that product? And another one saying, well, it's built in anyway, it's part of the operation. I'll try to give you some examples, and I haven't taken examples from US in this case, but I have taken them from Europe, because I would like to trigger some reactions from you. And in Europe, we have to do with a quite active NGO front. And that's good. They keep us sharp, but it's different. So, and then you can see how it also can get out of range. Not out of range in the way that at the end the conclusion was wrong, but the way you are positioned in the market, and well, I put some example here, because we were attacked, or NGOs came to us saying, well, your offerings of meat are too cheap. Well, is that bad by itself? We as a retailer think not, because we like to talk about the price always, especially with our suppliers. But actually the background of that was that they said, well, your chicken and your pork, more than beef I have to say, you put it at too low prices in the market, and that makes that your suppliers cannot do what they want to do. And if we asked our suppliers, are your chickens happy? They would say yes, all of them. There are 20,000 in that warehouse there, they're all happy. So that's more or less the world that you're in. And what we did, or what they did at Albert Heijn, is saying, well, we go from the price offerings, we just move to another topic and say, well, maybe you're right, maybe not, but price is not the issue. We will ask our suppliers to be certified against a 1-star certification, and that's an animal welfare guarantee. Well, not a guarantee, it's an assessment certified by a third party. Because the question is then, does the sales price really affect quality? Does it affect sustainability or animal welfare? Or even does it affect the profit model of the farmer? So what's the mission of Albert Heijn? They tell to the market, we offer without concerns, so it's in our brand, the most enjoyable piece of meat. That's a difficult message. And what does it mean in the market then? And here are some examples, not exclusively on beef, but it shows which direction the market goes and how you create your image. Because what you see here is organic. We got a market share in the Netherlands of 58%, while our overall market share is around 35%. So we are above, we have a fair share, that's quite high. In total, the volume organic beef is still quite limited. Organic chicken the same way. Also vegetarian, we have a high market share, but if you look at the total volume of, well, let's say vegetarian beef, well, that's not possible anyway, but then it's a growing market, but it's building up your banner, your brand. And the same for seafood, where we also have a quite high percentage. And how do we reach that? We need dedicated production chains. So we need to work together with, and that's why we are a member of the GRSB, that's why we are a member of all kinds of other platforms. We need to communicate with the rest of the production chain. And on top of that, we need also to have a certain dose, a certain way of endorsement by other stakeholders. Because that's also creating our position in the market. And then still, quality and availability comes first, because our customers do not want empty shelves. They come to us every day, hopefully, and they want to be able to buy what they have on the list. And then also extra costs in our approach need to be visible. Not visible to the customer, because they buy the product, but visible in the production chain. Because that's the only way that we can act on it. One way to do it, and that's not possible in all chains, is to have very short and transparent supply chains. That makes them efficient in the operation, but also in the marketing of the whole carcass. I mean, if we cannot market the whole carcass, if we have our own requirements, we don't have the leverage towards the producer. And that's a major obstacle still, because we have roughly, globally, 50,000 own-brand products on the shelf. So one side we cannot be an expert, and the other side we don't have the leverage on each individual product to talk to our, well, basic producers, to the farmers, about the raw materials. So one example of that is pork. We made an agreement with Vion that you see on the right top. And we said, well, we offer the minced meat, we offer the cutlets, we offer and also in 2016 we do the Delhaize. So the whole pig is on the shelf with Albert Heijn. On certain topics we can make commitments almost without our suppliers. And that's where it's becoming very clear, very easy to a certain point of view. I got an example here on soy. We say, well, as a company, we do not like to have any deforestation. That's not connected to a single product. That's not connected to even not to the product that's produced on the place where deforestation might take place. Let it be palm oil or soy or grazing of animals. But that's commitments that you can make, and we can do that almost without our supply chains. We need our supply chains at the end to do it. But we can make that commitments. But a lot of other commitments, and that's also for beef, we cannot make without our supply chains. And what you see here is, again, Albert Heijn. They have organic beef, they have beef from Argentina, they have beef from Ireland, they have beef from the Netherlands, and a majority of the beef is even from dairy cattle. So you're talking to beef production chains and you're selling dairy cattle. That's in fact what it is. So what are the concerns? And that's my last slide, I believe. Differentiation is key for us. We cannot have a one-size-fits-all for all markets, for all products. That's just without any discussion. Without transparency, we cannot make commitments. So we need to have full transparency in our production chains. And having said that, information has become an integral part of our product. The information needs to come with the product. But if you say that, you say immediately that information is not only the farmer's information, that's also the information that is of the whole supply chain and maybe of the market. And then the first question that comes is, who's the owner of the information? And actually, we get quite a bit of discussions on that part. And then we have our system approach versus a product approach. And you would say, well, what do you mean with that? Well, we can introduce a whole system. And we do that with GRSB, we do that with soy beef, where we are also active in. We do that on palm. But in fact, our customer is buying a product. So we always need to be able to translate the system to the product. And then the last one, and that's also an ongoing discussion, to our belief, risks are certified, opportunities are monitored. So the negative things, you certify, third party. The positive opportunities that you want to communicate to the market, you monitor and verify. And you would say, yeah, I like that, yes. But make sure that you do that in time. Make sure that you have the opportunity not developed into an issue, because then you're out of control and you're in big trouble and big cost.